Ngimthandeni. You see this beauty? It's all in one, man. What do you want?
Of being a leader, the sound of a 19-year-old kid.
That wasn't him.
We, the people.
If you sing about love, you sing to your gospel.
Abo Mama Miriam Eva.
Hey, Charles, Zulu boy, and greetings to the audience out across the world.
I mean, someone had to know when I went to wash dishes.
It doesn't matter what is your background or what is your status at the moment. There is nobody who knows you and yourself.
A cartoon phone in the building. Best global studio. Yo, bro.
And if I'm going to speak English, I have to give you an invoice because I've paid to learn English.
So I'm giving you the name Rediva. Rediva.
No, thank you, Banuga. Sure. Hopefully, my bark is as good as my bite.
All the countries around Africa, everybody was black. Even in America, the blacks, they fought for freedom,
Yes.
but I'm not even there now. Now we need to be saved from ourselves, because as a nation, as a black nation, I see a lot of anger issues from the brothers. The women are being killed, the children are being killed, murdered, raped. They even raped their grandmother.
I'll actually have to start right there.
Diverse Global Studios, Africa #1.
Bathi khuluma nabafana batshe sikhamba kanjani ulungani kwalalo aka umfana kaShokolate. Welcome to the Global Sunday Show.
Hello.
hello. Josie, you have something to say? Say hello.
Hi, everyone.
Yeah. Today I'm joined by Garage and Josie in the studio. It is gonna be fun as always. Welcome to the Global Sunday Show. Welcome if you're watching on YouTube. Welcome if you're watching on Facebook. Welcome if you're watching on Diverse TV. Drop me a comment below. Let me know where you watching from. It's gonna be exciting as always. We have a special guest that we're gonna be talking to. If you have a comment, you have a question for our special guest, please drop the comment below. We'll make sure that we share with our special guest. But I'm not going to tell you who it is. But if you are following us on our social media, you already know who we're talking to today. And it's going to be amazing. But without wasting any time, let me introduce our panel for today. All the way from Durban, South Africa, Princeton. All the way from Durban, South Africa again, Boomé. And all the way from Arizona, Prescott, Mr. London. Welcome to the Global Sunday Show. Hello. Hello.
Yes. How you guys doing? Welcome and greetings. Welcome to the Global Sunday Show yet again. Shout out to the panelists. Thank you to the viewers as well for tuning in. I'll start off with myself. I'll talk about my week. I've had a brilliant week. Just trying to put in the work and trying to see how far I can get. And I'd just like to ask the panelists, let me know how your week was, guys. How was your week? Start with Mr. Ladden.
Okay, well, my week was a week of intense study of human nature. Boy, can humans be weird and challenging and delightful. So this week was all about other people, really, for me. And it sort of goes along with our guest this week as somebody that I run into all over the place because we were in the same basic orbit, but we've never really had a chance to sit down and talk. So I'm looking forward to it. And the other thing about this week I want to say is that, Lungani always opens a show and he says about sharing your questions and comments. We have gotten some of the most interesting and insightful questions from you guys out there in the public. I mean, really. And it's so if there's something you're curious about, ask it, because it's always incredible for us, to know what you're interested in. And with that, then I'll pass it on to Mpume. How are you doing, my dear, our new queen?
Hello, everyone. I'm great. Thank you very much for asking. The week, I have something to share, and I hope that it interests you. I might be, or maybe I am, going to be part of a drama that is going to be shown at the Playhouse.
Nice.
Oh.
Yes, this is after almost 30 years. Almost after 30 years away from the institution and away from, the Playhouse stage. So I'm really looking forward to it, but obviously I'm doing that and I'm doing the background information and the background marketing. I'm doing, I'm wearing multiple hats, but it's very exciting. And I'm really excited to actually see people that are coming back to watch shows at the Playhouse. So the week has been all about that more than anything else.
What's the date?
We will be starting, the opening will be on the 8th of December and ending on the 11th of December. And the aim is to actually do, school shows during the day and evening shows, for the adults. It's called Ikawekazi.
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 In
fact,
the translation is.
I should warn our guest, Mpume. Yes, Mpume. Yes. In fact, I should warn our guest today that there's gonna be a lot of clicks. There's gonna be a lot of clicks today. So, she's gonna have an opportunity to learn one of the South African languages. That's gonna be fun.
She is actually one of our Kawekazi. She is the Kawekazi. I will explain that later.
And maybe you can, exactly. Maybe you can explain that later to her. My week was awesome. I went to the WWE event for the first time, which was great.
Oh, wow.
It was great. I've always wanted to attend one of their live.
That's my mother's favorite sport.
Oh, yeah.
That's what she watches.
I'll send you photos and you should forward those photos to your mom.
Oh, she would love to see them.
Absolutely. Garaj, Garaj wants to say something. Okay, go for it.
So Lungani took me to the WWE event as well. It was so fun. He just clapped my shoulder from behind. He's like, yee! So it was awesome.
All right, we're gonna take a break. When we come back from a break, and then we are going to introduce our guest for today. I am so excited. Let's take a break, and then when we come back, we'll see you. This is the Global Sunday Show with Lungani. I'll see you when we come back. Look.
Global Studios, Africa #1.
Welcome back from that short break. All right, today we have a representative of a part of the arts world that is so important. You know, when kids are finding their way in life, they have to be exposed to lots of different things. Today, our guest is exposing them to theater and dance, particularly from a dance perspective. It is the amazing coach, choreographer, teacher, studio owner, you name it, she's good at it. Her name is Alexis Niekamp, and we call her Lexe. So welcome, Lexe.
Thank you so much for having me today.
It's so good to see you. Now, I don't know how, lots of applause. Man, this audience is excited today. We've gone a little bit off of the script, so I'm going to ask the opening question for you. You know, we have found with all of our guests that where you grew up shapes you. It really is. You know, the air, the food, the atmosphere, the people, it makes you who you are. Now, you had your childhood starting at a very early age in Arizona. What was that like? You know, our audience watches us broadcast from Arizona every single week for several years now. Tell them what it's like in Arizona growing up and how that shaped your life.
Yes, so thank you for that question. I grew up in Northern California, moved here when I was 10, and had absolute culture shock when I moved here. And here is Prescott, Arizona, and a very small town, but one thing that it taught me was to stay grounded and embrace all the changes, embrace all the hard times, embrace all the seasons of your life. I was reading a book one time and I had the quote in it that said, just like trees, we have to embrace the changes of every single season. So there's going to be some seasons that you lose your leaves. There's going to be some seasons that you grow new leaves. And all throughout it, you just have to stay grounded and keep your trunk stable. And one thing that's really cool about Prescott, Arizona is we get all 4 seasons. So that was really put into perspective a lot more growing up here.
That's incredible. Mpume.
Alexis.
Hi, how are you?
You well? Can you guys hear me? I'm great, thank you. How are you?
I'm doing really well, thank you.
I think we're having some technical issue coming out of Durban. Princeton, why don't we jump to you?
Yeah. Hello, Alexis.
Now,
Lexe, how are you doing?
Kawagazi, before I make any comments, it's a prestigious way. Am I still connected?
You're partially connected.
Yeah.
Hey Mpume, maybe we're gonna toss it over to
I was
Princeton.
actually
Princeton,
saying
please go
about
for it.
the word Kawagazi. It refers to the great women.
Princeton, just jump on it, sir.
I think we're losing you a little bit, Mpume. I just wanted to say hi, Lexe. Hope you well. Nice to meet you. But I think let's go to the news for a bit, and then we'll catch you on the flip side. Thank you.
Welcome to the Global Sunday News. Today is October, I have to check. Today is October 16th, 2022. Reporting for TGSN, I'm Kenneth Ludden. At this time of year, things are all getting started. We've been through the summer break. We're coming up in America on elections. We're starting in with the long-term dedicated sessions of Congresses all over the world. New laws are going into place. But our top story today is with the Ukraine and the war in the Ukraine. there was a sham referendum that was done in 4 provinces that were partially occupied by the Russians. This referendum was done so that Vladimir Putin could then announce the annexation of those. The referendums were done. They were very problematic. They were clearly not a representation of the population. And then before the announcement of the annexation came, the Ukrainian army made advances into 3 of those 4 regions. And so they were even less under Russian control when those were announced. At the same time, Germany, France, and other European nations are supplying the Ukrainian army with more of the needed ammunition and weapons that they require to be able to regain and maintain their country. And the United States is sending another $700+ million of aid. At the same time, there's something new that the soldiers in the Ukraine are starting to do, and this is such good news. They're starting to be able to go into areas that used to be occupied by the Russians, that have been pushed out, and they are taking out the landmines. That doesn't happen until it is certain that the enemy is going to be held at bay. And that is a very important thing. And the other thing that happened, though, as a retaliation for that, is that Putin unleashed all sorts of new, very devastating weapons that have a kind of molten metal in them that goes everywhere and just destroys everything in sight. And there was a direct hit on the office of the mayor of Donetsk, which is the main city of the Donbass region, and in his office. There is no report yet as to whether he survived. It is unlikely that he would have. Moving on from there, the United States is coming to an end of the congressional investigation of the insurrection on January 6th, and it is becoming increasingly clear that former President Donald J. Trump will be indicted and is very likely to be found guilty of the crimes of espionage and interfering with a government investigation. This is extremely serious. It is a very, very difficult situation for Merrick Garland. Merrick Garland is our now Attorney General. We will move on then to the United States. It is very difficult for Merrick Garland, our Attorney General here, to bring charges against the former president. And yet, if he doesn't bring charges, then that invites future insurrections and anti-democratic actions by other presidents. So we are watching very, very intently as this plays out. Also, in the world, even though we do not speak of COVID anymore, there are still daily deaths. So do not forget to do all of the proper health and hygiene things that have been recommended. Even though there does not seem to be a threat, viruses are invisible. And at this time of year, this is when new flus and new viruses come. And so having the flu, having the regular flu can suppress your immune system, and any immunity you might have against COVID is weakened. So be very careful as you go forward. Wherever you are in the world, whatever you're doing, you be the example of the best version of you can possibly show to the world. If everybody does that, then those who choose to show themselves in a negative light will be more visible and recognizable. And overall, life will be much better for everybody in our amazing world. Thank you for listening to the Global Sunday News. I'm Kenneth Ludden. We will now return to our very interesting interview with Lexe.
Global Studios, Africa #1.
Yes. Welcome back. This is the Global Sunday. Lexe, you've got quite an interesting story. but I'm gonna go straight into the question about you started dancing at 4 years old. Could you tell us how did that happen, and when did it take hold and become a lifetime dedication?
Yeah, so I started dancing at Marty's Dance Studio in Northern California at 4 years old. And I was on scholarship, so being from a single parent household, scholarships have always impacted my life and have had such a major importance to me. And I would help out around the studio. And honestly, about when I was old enough to, I'd have to say 7, when I was old enough to actually register that what a scholarship meant to me and what dance meant to me, it was no longer just something I did. It became part of my life, and it was a way for me to express myself, have an outlet, and just come to a place where anyone from any background was accepted, and we all worked on one major thing to bring one full big puzzle. And I think that that was so important because growing up, it was really hard being from a single parent household, and my mom is Caucasian and I'm brown skinned, and it was really hard going to school, and they're like, well, you're adopted and that's not your mom, and there was just a lot of bullying, you could say, in my schooling. So dance, that's when I found dance as to be my main go-to for anything and everything. Even when I was having a good day, a bad day, it was just really important to me. And I knew that that's when it took a hold of my life.
Well said.
Thank you.
Yeah. Lexi, you remind me of so much in terms of the daily talks that most women actually will have these days, about girl child growing up and a girl child being given a space to develop in various areas. So with you, you have developed, you were dancing, the schooling, you're making friends, you're learning, and you're also seeing that, art is inclusive. While you see yourself sometimes, different, and people can actually point out at the difference between yourself and your mom, art is inclusive. I mean, how would you really say, what would be the message to a girl child maybe going through some of the things that you went through and you had to overcome?
Yes, so my message would be that there's only one you, and that's your superpower. I think that when we put together routines in dancing, for example, in my classes, you need every single person in the class to do a lift. It doesn't matter what your background is, who you are. Just at the end of the day, it's all about the outcome of how everything puts together and how you guys all can work together from no matter what background you come from. And so I think that being you is your biggest superpower because there's no one like you in this world and you're still needed.
You see, Kawega Zisutu, that is your new name.
maybe you can explain before I jump in and ask a question or a comment. Maybe you can explain what Kawagazi means to Alexi.
It refers to a heroine. That woman. That woman, not just any, but that woman that people speak to, that people respect, that people look up to, but also that woman that is able to kind of like lead and be led when there's a need.
I love that.
Yeah.
Yeah, just to throw in a comment on what you guys talked about. I'm not a woman. I don't know what it feels like, and this is one of the things that I like about the Global Sunday Show because every individual, they get to speak for themselves, and we are here to listen to an individual, or if it's a group, but we listen to their journey, to their story, to their experience. So it's really, really good that we're talking about this, so a person who's at home will understand exactly what is going. Because there's a lot of people who are bullying other people out there, and in my mind, I'm asking myself, why? I know there's a lot of a lot of reasons behind that. It might be because you've been bullied before, and it might be because you do not know what it feels like, and maybe no one has ever set you down and explain exactly what this means. So yeah, I'm really glad that you guys are talking about that, and you are bringing it on the table so we can be aware, and especially for someone who was thinking of doing the same thing, they can be like, oh, so this is what it feels like. So yeah, I just wanted to throw in that. Princeton.
I think it's Ken, but I also I agree with you on that one. There's so much that you have to offer as a woman, and us as men, sometimes we don't understand, because we're not we're not females. I just feel like there's so much, as Mpume was saying, you are a heroine, Kawekazi. If you could just learn that name and somehow try and meditate on it, I think it would do you a great deal. Mr. Ludden, I think you might have a question there for us.
Well, I do, but I wanted to comment. I started dancing when I was 3. I was one of 6 children. My father was a college professor, and my mother was a painter, a fine artist. So we were very, very poor, but art was always admired. And in our neighborhood, my mother was an artist, so all the kids of the neighborhood would take art classes from her. There was Mr. Gibbs was a guitar player. We'd all go play guitar with him. And then we had Martha Ray, who was a dancer who had danced with the Martha Graham Dance Company, and she taught dance classes. So when I was 3, all the kids, we would just migrate. It was like being on tour around the neighborhood. And we went there, and it was discovered in the first class that, boy, could I jump. Now, when I was told to jump, they put a book halfway across the room. It was just a basement room. And we were told to run to the book and then jump to the corner. Now, being one of 6 kids in an Irish family, first of all, women are in charge of everything in Celtic culture, and you always obey. So I ran to the book and I jumped to the corner all the way across the room in the air. And everybody was like, oh my God, oh my God. And they said, do it again. And I started to cry because I didn't remember what I did. I just obeyed. Anyway, but that was my entrance into the world of dance. In the world of dance, even when there's a whole group of people, you're still seen. And what you're doing is something that you're really in. But the world of dance is run by women. The directors are mostly men, but that's not the world of dance. That's the world of business. And the women know the answers. The women know how to tell you how to do it and achieve your goals and everything. My orientation to women and to being in groups that were mixed boys and girls was completely different than everybody I know who came up in like all male sports teams or all female sports teams, or, like it was all segregated. My world was all mixed up, and the women and the girls, the girls could always do the steps better than the boys until we became 17. Then we surge ahead, but we have to wait till our adult body is there to be fully functional as men, whereas girls can be fully functional from the beginning. They're able to adapt and learn much quicker than boys, the physical things. And also the women always had the answer, and you always, not in an insecure way, but you always wanted their approval because they knew, you know what I mean? And you wanted to please them, not to make yourself feel good, but they were the authority. The wisdom was there. The knowledge was there. The expertise, the how you can achieve something, all was in the women. And I've never met anybody who is in the dance world, who stays in the dance world, who doesn't love it. So it was an act of love that you got helped and got brought along by these women. So my relationship with women is markedly different than all of the other guys my age that weren't in the dance world, because they grew up in this very segregated, almost hostile kind of thing. And it wasn't like that. And he talked about a lift. You know, in a lift, both dancers have to be giving 150%, or it's not going to always work. And boy, do I have stories of lifts that didn't work. But it's that cooperation, that mutual love and mutual dedication and respect. That's what I learned from being in the dance world as a young boy. So I welcome you. And that's also part of why, just for the, I made a mention of that we're in the same orbit and we haven't talked. It's because when we're both in a place, I'm doing my job, Lexi's doing her job, there's this complete respect and division, and you know what I mean? Like there's no reason to stop doing your job to talk until you're out of the studio or out of the theater. And so anyway, it's just so nice for me to have another colleague in the dance world. Of course, Lungani is a colleague and a son, and he's one of those family things that we don't look alike. And, you know, every now and then somebody notices that, maybe makes a comment, but, you know, they can do that. Anyway, so thank you, That. Now, long way around to get the question. So we always talk about the arts and business, okay? Now, the arts are their own thing. They have their own rules, their own everything. And when you're doing your art, do your art. Don't do business while you're doing your art, and don't do your art while you're doing business. Now, you have a foot in both worlds. So tell us about the business side of that. You have the Lessons by Lexe Dance Studio and Quest Character Parties. Let's hear all about that business side.
6 ago, and the business side versus the art side, I have a passion for both. And I think that that's something that's really important when starting a business at the age of 19 years old, is knowing what you want and where your passions lie and where they come from, so that you aren't misunderstood when making business decisions. We started in a 900 square foot space, and about 2 years later, we moved to a 5,369 square foot space because we blew up here in Prescott. It was absolutely amazing to see how many kids needed the arts here in Prescott. And so we also are an all-inclusive environment. Our motto is wild and untamed by nature. I love lions. Those are my favorite animals, and I'm a Leo as well. So we have a huge lion on 2 of our studio's walls, right by the ballet bars, so that our kids can remember that it's okay to be wild and untamed by nature and bring themselves to the table unapologetically. We serve special needs as well, and that's one thing that I take a lot of pride in, because dancing is a universal language. It doesn't matter where you come from, and everyone can find a passion and everyone can come together to celebrate that art. So that's why I started my dance studio. My dance teacher, Marty, from Marty's Dance Studio, had a lot of impact on me when I was growing up. She said, all I ask is that you give back, and I didn't understand that until now. And I think that I've definitely made her happy with giving back. And my studio does operate a lot on scholarships as well. So we don't believe that any form of money should hold you back from being attached to any art form. And so we do offer scholarships at the studio as well. And then I also own Quest Character Parties. I have owned Quest Character Parties for 4 years now. I did buy this business from a previous owner, and we dress up as superheroes, princesses, and storybook characters, and go to special events. We have visited children in the hospital before. You guys can probably guess a couple of the princesses I am. I will not explicitly allow that out, just out of the respect of some of the kids that may be watching, who I may have been to their birthday parties or special events around town. But that's something that I really, it's just all about joy. I think that that's something that's so important and needed, especially now more than ever in our world, just as we constantly grow and evolve. Joy is something that it's necessary for the growth of our young generations and our old generations as well.
Fantastic.
Wow, that's so amazing.
Princeton,
Firstly, I just want to say congratulations. Starting a business at 19, I'm sure that must be one hell of a task, you know. Not
It
everybody
was.
gets that opportunity, you
Yeah,
know.
it definitely was. It was I was going to college full time on scholarships as well. I made sure my grades were always good so that I received scholarships to go to school. I was working full time as a manager at Planet Fitness and saving for the studio. And I did it all myself, and I think that's something that's you can do it coming from a single parent household. That's something I want everyone to know is no matter where or what your background is, you can do it. You can.
And tell me, like, how are you juggling between two businesses? I can imagine. I mean, dance is your passion. At the same time, it's a business, and then you still have the quest character parties to do. Like, how are you doing all of them, but yet still remaining focused at the same time? You know, without you know, stuttering. How are you managing that?
I have a very quick response to a lot of things. And so what I mean by that is with my businesses, I have a schedule that no one will possibly ever understand. But I have it all written down, set in stone. I know every single minute of what I'm doing. And I think that's honestly how I manage my businesses is I still do a paper schedule and I still write every single thing down. I still have reminders in my phone. And then I also have time for myself where I do take the time to dance on my own. I do take the time to make sure that I am right in mindset in order to keep these businesses going and thriving. And also knowing now more than ever, it's okay to say no to certain opportunities in order to keep your businesses grounded.
That's crazy, yeah. Because same like with me, I'm a musician, but at the same time, I do a lot of work from home, like graphic design and, you know, studio work. And I still do some of my own music, you know, and I have a clothing brand. So I can relate to you when you talk about schedule.
Yeah.
But the thing about schedule for me is if I'm out of my schedule for the first 2 hours of my day,
Yeah.
it ruins my whole day.
Exactly.
It's almost like I can never get that time back. Everything after that just doesn't fall into place. I mean, how do you deal with that?
So making my bed is something that's really important to me. And if I don't make my bed, I agree, my whole day is off. Like if it's not made, that like sets the tone for your day. All it takes is like 2 minutes to do that. So and drinking a glass of water when I wake up, that is something that's really important to me too, to remind myself to stay hydrated because the first thing that touches your lips, that's what you're going to crave the rest of the day. So it is hard. Like I'm not going to sugarcoat it in any way, shape, or form, but having to remember what your why is and what your end goal is joy, for me at least, is to make sure that yes, there's going to be hiccups in the road. Yes, there's going to be things that happen. Yes, maybe you don't make your bed, but remembering that something that could have happened for 2 minutes of the day, you have to keep going. And to me, that's something that I've had to learn. It's not always been rainbows and butterflies at all, but it's something that I definitely have trained myself to understand.
That's amazing. Mpumi?
Amazing. Wow, that's amazing. This also talks about, when I think it's not just a woman thing, but there's a saying that one needs to arrive, show up, and stay at the table and do what you need to do or converse, add ideas. And sometimes that is so Lexe though. Who are the NAZ Wranglers, IFL, and what does coaching them involve?
Yeah, so fun story about the Northern Arizona Wranglers. They are a pro team indoor football league, and they are new here in Prescott Valley. We actually play here in our small little town, and they actually just won championships. And something that's really cool about them is we've only been around for 2 years. The first year we were a complete, not winning team. We could not get noticed as much. And then this next year we went to championships and we are huge now. And it's crazy cool to see. And just witness. I think that that's something that's really important too, because that's relatable to a lot of people, even if they don't like football. But how I got involved with the Northern Arizona Wranglers Indoor Football League was I went to a press conference, and I was sitting in the press conference, and they were talking about the new team, the launch of it, what the colors were, and how excited everyone was, and that there were season tickets on sale. And then they asked if there was any questions. And I stood up and I said, I do have a question. Are you guys having a dance team? Because that is part of the entire experience of going to an indoor football game or any indoor sports team game anyways. So I asked, and they said, that's an interesting question. We haven't even thought about that yet. They said, but we'll reach out to somebody local to see if they're interested. And so I handed him my card and I said, I own a dance studio. My name is Lexe. I had an interview 48 hours after, and I was hired on as their dance team coach. And then I'm also a dance member of the Mustangs. That's what we're called, the Mustangs dance team for the Northern Arizona Wranglers. So that is now a major aspect to this sports team, and it just adds to the whole experience. Because some people come for the sports, some people come for the dance, but all around they come for the whole art of the game. And I think that that's something that I wanted to make sure that I could encourage other people to come to the games that maybe don't necessarily want to go for the football. Because I know some people like certain sports, and some people also don't see dance as necessary. And I think that that's something that I was like, we are going to make sure this town knows dance is just as necessary as the game of football. So we actually perform and practice about three days a week. We practice, and then we perform at all of the home games for now. We haven't traveled with the team yet.
Wow.
Are there I'm sure that this is true. I'm old, but are there like videos and things of your dance? I mean, I would love to see some of that.
Yeah.
I have always, my family was big into sports, and I always had rehearsal when they were at the game. You know what I mean? Like, I didn't go that often. Yeah. And when I did, I loved the halftime show. That was like what I was into. And I always wondered, like, when you're going to choreograph something, say there's a big special game, I don't know, maybe there's a big Halloween game coming or a big Thanksgiving game or something. I really don't know sports, so I'm open to being educated. But in terms of that, how do you approach the choreography? Like, how do you think of the choreography that you're going to do in that setting with that kind of energy? It's got to be incredible.
Yeah, I think something that's really important is when I go to choreograph something, and I get this question a lot, is knowing your audience and knowing your dancers. Because every dancer brings something different to the table, and every audience member is going to see a different aspect. So ensuring that whether or not a dancer is stronger in one form, making sure that I'm highlighting their strengths so that they are giving their absolute best to the audience that is waiting and expecting that. Because there is an expectation. When you go up in front, as I'm sure all of us have been performers here at some point in time, even if it's just reading a book report in front of the class, that's still a performance. When you go up, the audience does have a expectation for you. And you have an expectation for yourself. But if you aren't given the proper moves or the proper choreography to highlight your strengths and weaknesses, to me, that's not fair.
Right.
So I think that that's how I have to start my choreography in all ways, so that I'm respecting the dancers that are bringing their passions to each and every dance.
That's really fascinating. Princeton, do you
Can I
use
say something quick, Princeton, before?
Sorry.
Before you can talk, can I just jump in quickly? I do.
Yeah.
I just want to find out, because I'm a dancer too. I'm a choreographer, and I want to know from you, which part is the hardest for you when it comes to choreography and dancing? I know normally we don't talk about the challenges that we face. We just produce the work, and then we people enjoy it and we keep quiet and we have fun, because obviously the final product is always awesome. You forget all the stuff that you went through during the process. But what is your most challenging thing when it comes to choreography and teaching?
Ooh, I love this question. I think that it would have to be time. I always want to spend so much time on learning new routines that sometimes I'm like, oh, well, let's run it 13 times, just this 1/8 count. So I want to make sure that this starts right, and then we can move on with the dance instead of just teaching the entire dance in like 12 minutes and then cleaning it afterwards. So I think sometimes with me, it's the time of wanting to see if the dancers are even finding passion in anything they're doing. So I do a little testing stage, I guess you could say, and sometimes that can be difficult because I want to run it a couple extra times than I need to. And as they say, I mean, a dance teacher's famous quote is "one more time." So I think that's one of my struggles, is the one more time. I like to say it a couple, too many times.
Wow. That's so amazing that you're actually a perfectionist. Oh, Mr. Ludden, you were saying something.
Well, I was asking you, in your hip hop performances and rap, obviously there's dance involved. What is your relationship to this question of dance and choreography and the inclusion of it and embracing everybody in the audience, each at their level, and also the performers?
Well, to be honest, I can actually relate to what Lexe was saying. There's quite a few performances we have done on an outdoor festival type stage, and I've always had the hip hop dancers. Lungani will tell you, part of his crew, I've had them do break dancing and flips and back flips, and I just think it adds to the show. Even though I'm doing hip hop, I'm a single person, I have a DJ, but just having those 5 or 6 or 4 dancers doing something while the music is going, it adds to the show. And then with the whole fit, I think it comes out brilliant. Sometimes you just need that, because like she was saying, some people are there to see you, some people are there to see dancers, some people are there to just look at the DJ,
Yeah.
So I totally agree with that.
Mr. Ludden, you mentioned something about dance videos. Fortunately, I have a video, a dance video from Lexe. So
yeah,
maybe let's take a break and watch that video,
yeah,
and then we'll come back and talk some more. How's that?
Fantastic.
Sounds good?
Sounds good.
Yeah.
Sounds good? Okay. All right. So, we're going to take a break and we're going to watch a video from Lexe. And then when we come back, we're going to talk some more. It's still going to be fun. It's going to be awesome. You're watching the Global Sunday Show with your boy, Lungani Kwala. We'll be right back.
I'm here with Mustangs dance coach Lexe Niekamp. Lexe, thanks so much for having us out tonight. We got a chance to talk with you early in the season before we kick things off. It's been 15 weeks now, 15 games in this season. You guys have cheered at, I want to say, 7 or 8 of those games. Yeah. Let's talk about the progress of this team and how much fun you guys have had this season. Obviously, winning helps, but you guys put a lot of work in here at the studio.
For sure. So we have so many energetic routines, and I think what makes it so much fun with our rehearsals and all of our practices is that we get to have fun doing it, and we also get to bring more joy to the fans with having all of these energetic routines.
How excited are you guys for the upcoming playoff games? Obviously this week the team is on the road, but next week it'll be the first playoff game in franchise history. How exciting is that for you and the team?
We are so excited. From going from last year's team to this year, like we are beyond blown away, and we are so grateful to have a playoff home game.
Absolutely. Well, we appreciate all the hard work you guys do every day. You're a big part of the team, and you always entertain the fans there at Finley Toyota Center. We appreciate all your efforts.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Congratulations, and good luck the rest of the season.
Of course. Thank you. Go Wranglers.
Global Studios, Africa #1.
Welcome back. That was spectacular. And I saw those lions on the wall of the studio. Love the curtain. It's really great. I hope someday I get to actually go and see your studio.
Yes.
You know, it's so full of life what you do. And also, you know, in that lineup, I could pick you out. You definitely are a very, very noticeable, riveting dancer. Going back now to our list, you know, you have just amazing list of things that you've done. Before I ask the question, I just want to say, all of you listening out there, especially the young ones and the old ones and the sick ones and the ones facing challenges that these residual challenges we have from going through COVID and being so displaced, you know, like we talk about schedule. During COVID, I forgot that you have to allow time in your schedule to get from one place to another, because on Zoom, you don't need that time. So all of a sudden, I'm feeling like I'm doing so much less because I have to travel in space. But anyway, as we adjust to that, remember what Lexe said, you can do it. You can do it. Just please remember that. And if you're facing opposition, that's only because it's finding even more of those character traits of that superhero you alone represent in this world. And so here we come back to Lexe. Now tell us about Arts in Action, applying remarkable talents to succeed.
Yes, so to add on to the list of things that I do, I am also a title holder for the Miss America organization. So I am the current Miss Copper State 2022. I do give up my title in November, and I have aged out of Miss America. However, my social impact is Arts in Action, applying remarkable talents to succeed, which continues to instill arts in our community, as well as our homes, and anywhere in between. And I want to make sure that every single child growing up has access to arts, whether it's drawing, music, dance, theater. So I'm also I'm on the board of a local nonprofit theater company here called One Stage Family Theater. And I donate a lot of my volunteer hours to taking time to teach choreography for their musicals that they put onto local stages. And so giving them those outlets and giving them their different ways to show them that they each are just as important as any other character on the stage is something that's really important to me. So I've gone into schools as well, and I've donated tons of art supplies and also guest spoke for a lot of the kids growing up who don't necessarily know just even what they want to do in the future. They just feel stuck, they feel lost, they feel alone. I've talked to Girl Scout troops, just about anything and everything that I do, as well as different places for them to get involved in the arts. I even helped paint a mural recently, and I got some kids involved with that, and I think that that's just so important to bring a community together to add to a bigger picture and just include. I think that's one of the biggest things is all inclusive. There's no need to leave anyone out when it comes to the arts world. And Arts in Action is really important to me as a whole because I'm not only giving these children the resources, the arts resources that are needed, I'm also giving these families the arts resources that are needed, because when you drop your kid off at dance class, there's a joy in the parents' eyes as well, whether it's a joy of I get an hour by myself, or the joy of I get to go grocery shopping, or the joy of just seeing their kid happy. And I think that happy and thriving is the biggest. And so that's why I started my social impact Arts in Action, because that is my life. The arts are all around me. Even how you make your bed in the morning, or what you chose to wear today, how you pick out your outfits, how you brush your teeth, that's all an art. They're surrounding us. So whether you want to cut arts programs or not, that's kind of where my social impact comes from, is explaining to everyone who wants to cut those programs that that's the last program you need to cut from our schools.
No.
Yep. Can I please jump in onto that? Um, in South Africa, we are actually fighting just what you've said, cutting off arts, removing it from, the kids and, the young adults. It's very hard, but we're doing it. We as the organization, because I come from Worcester organization, and as an individual, because I grew up, in Africa in general, art this is how we express ourselves. Emotions, all the emotions are being expressed through art, various art forms. So we need to keep arts going. We just need to fight this because the kids needs it. And we are the product of, the arts. This is how I personally developed into being the person that I am. So yeah, that's actually. But can I ask you a question?
Yes.
Because with all the love that you have, for the youth, and all that is inside of a life that is dedicated to the young adults, to the youth, you as the youth must be the catalyst, I'd say. And you grew up in a single parent household. And yet at the age of 19, you managed to actually start a business and, be a dance instructor in your own dance studio. I'm sure I'm getting it right there. Would you then say, doing all that, also going to the college and getting the scholarship, was it not a lot? And how did it all work out, not just for you, but for your family as well?
Yeah, it was a lot. Like I said, I'm going to be real with you guys because I think that that's what our world needs is we see so many highlight reels all the time. All of our Instagrams, all of our Facebooks, those are all highlight reels. And so the nitty gritty is what's important, I think. And yeah, it was hard. It was difficult going to college full time on scholarship, making sure that my grades would stay up. But I think that alone, like you said, I have to act as a catalyst. I have to be the person that they feel they are already and that it's doable. You can do it. And you can do it without support. I have an amazing support system. My mom is absolutely amazing with supporting me. And I have an aunt and uncle who live here as well, amazing at supporting me. And I have an uncle who lives in Phoenix, just a couple hours away, who's amazing at supporting me. And we just lost my grandpa on Monday, and he was an amazing supporter. But you have to find your own motivation. And I think that that's something that I had to find in order to keep going, in order to keep pushing, in order to understand that you can't wait for everyone to clap for you when you walk down with your diploma. You have to clap for yourself before anyone's going to do it for you. Because everyone thought when I was opening my studio, even my mom sometimes was like, "Are you sure you want to do this? Like, I'm not too sure. Like, I support you, but I don't want to see you not thrive." And I was like, "No, I know that this is something that God's telling me to do, and I have to do it." And now looking back on it, it's interesting to see the people who never clapped for you or never even knew you, quote unquote, or bullied you in middle school. They're now my dance, like their kids are now my dance students. And I think that that's something that is just not only the goal is to give back, but the goal to understand that where you're at currently does not define your end destination.
Absolutely.
I'm a grandfather, I'm a father, and I just want to take a moment to join you in your grief by way of tribute
Thank you.
to your grandfather.
I
He must
appreciate that.
have had the most wonderful life. And having you as a granddaughter and your mother, I'm assuming, is his daughter,
Yeah.
having that, how wonderful his life must be, and how naturally he must be able to, go on to the next phase. I just want to give a tribute to him.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
In terms of what you're saying, I always make my bed first thing in the morning because I always want to get up and do something that I did that's the right thing to do.
Mm-hmm.
Because as a director, you never know what's going to happen. You don't know. You have to make, you talked about the quick reflex. You've got to make your decision. You don't know. You got to trust your heart. You just trust your gut. Follow your own code of conduct for yourself. No matter what they're all doing, you don't have to go to that level. Remain in your space, your integrity, your authentic self, regardless. And even to have been in the Miss America franchise and representative in such a visible way as you are, and balancing that with dance. Gravity humbles you. Your physical body humbles you. Time humbles you. The music humbles you. You know what I mean? To be able to have both that shining self and the humility, and yet always keep going. And this, as you have heard out there in the audience, it's finding your why and knowing your where you're going to go. You got to have those 2 points. I just think that it's remarkable. And there are a lot of kids out there with single family homes. Or single parent homes. There are kids out there with 0 parent homes. Find art, find dance, you'll find your way.
Yep.
Yep.
Yeah.
Princeton.
Yeah, I can so agree with you there, Mr. Ludden. If only the art was, if people could bring back the art, especially in my country, in South Africa, where people are so fascinated by lifestyle and money and everything that's shiny, we've kind of lost that whole thing of teaching kids to dance, teaching kids to sing, teaching kids to play sports, and you name it. We are so driven by glamour and style, and so I wish that we could have more people like Lexe, especially here in South Africa, just to talk to the youth, talk to the youngsters and encourage them, because I can tell that she's a very disciplined lady. To do stuff that you don't want to do, it takes discipline, to wake up every morning and do something that you don't want to do, or stuff that sometimes you got to do things that you're not willing to do. And to do that, to me, is discipline. And I can tell that she's one of those ladies that are very headstrong. And I applaud you, Lexe. You wear many hats. I can see that, and I know it's not easy. You make it look easy, but I know that it's not easy. That's why I say that she's probably a very disciplined young lady. And yeah, man, that's what I have to say about that.
Yeah, I just want to add something. We do have a video here, Princeton, and thank you for those words, Princeton. That's so true. We have a video from you, Lexe. I just have one question about Nutcracker. I know you did Nutcracker, and I remember I had a little conversation with you a couple of days ago. When I saw that video, I was like, oh, you did Nutcracker. Tell me about that. How was it? And you explained a few things. But I think maybe it would be nice to have you explaining that to our global audience, because I thought it was a really fascinating story about the Nutcracker. Do you want to? Yeah. And then after that, I can just play a short video based on your story.
Yeah, so the Nutcracker. The Nutcracker Snow Globe experience is something that I am currently in the works of trademarking and was an organic idea from myself. As you guys know, COVID hit our world 2 years ago, and all of our dancers and all of the arts shut down. Like, all of our stages were taken from us. I had to shut down my dance studio. So what we ended up doing was a lot of Zoom dance classes to keep the arts in school and keep the arts involved as they're schooling, because also kids were taken out of school as well. So I was trying to get the arts and use the arts as a tool throughout COVID. So this is how the Nutcracker Snow Globe experience did come about. We are heading into our 3rd year of it. We actually have auditions coming up in November. And what this is my studio that I'm in right now is all surrounded by windows. And that is one thing that I always loved in my dance studio, was having windows, huge windows to be able to look out, or if I got frustrated, I could just take a second and continue to do the move for the 800th time and still not nail it, but at least there was a tree to look at or a bird that was flying by that I felt like didn't give up either. And long story short, since all of our stages were closed, there was nowhere to perform, I thought, I can't just sit here and watch all of my dancers just let dance go and just let the arts disappear, because there's so much mental health that came out of that too, of not having anything to do during this time. And so what we did was we decided to put on the Nutcracker. And so I had all of my dancers, which we are already in the same family already, inside dancing the Nutcracker. And we had a walkthrough, a 15-minute story of the Nutcracker, and each scene of the Nutcracker was acted out with a narrator walking everyone else, all of the patrons that came to see it, outside the windows. So we were, in a sense, in a snow globe. And the snow globe would just come to life, and the narrator would walk from window to window, and our dancers would act out the scene. And so that was a way for us to still keep our performing, and it stuck after COVID. So now we're kind of in it for a while, which is so exciting that we have our 3rd year coming up. But I didn't think it was going to grow up to be as big as it is, just because no one had anything to do during COVID. And I think that that was important for us to just keep the Christmas spirit going, keep the story of the Nutcracker going. One of my favorite quotes is Eleanor Roosevelt, "The future belongs to those who believe in the beauty of their dreams." And I had to keep my dancers believing somehow. So that's where the Nutcracker Snow Globe experience came from.
Wow, amazing story. So if you're watching at home, you already know why I asked this question and why I asked Lexi to share this story with you at home. So yeah, powerful. We're going to take a break and look at the video, one of Lexi's video based on the Nutcracker. And then when we come back, we're going to be reading the comments with Ugaraj and Ujosi. So stay tuned and enjoy this video. We'll see you when we come back. This is the Global Sunday Show. Cheers.
We've always wanted to bring the Nutcracker to Lessons by Lexe Dance Studio, and so what better way than to create a snow globe experience to keep our dancers safe during this pandemic.
I am the amazing Nutcracker, the toy that Clara gets, brought to life in her dreams. I do a nice little dance right in front of these windows with my partner Claire.
I'm Clara, and I dance with the Nutcracker. I do ballet.
How long have you been dancing?
Since I was 3. I've been dancing since I was 2.
This is just an idea that came to me when I was looking at the windows, because we have so many awesome windows, and I think it's great for our dancers to stay safe as well as be able to perform still. And so we are inside the studio, and that's where the snow globe aspect of this experience comes from. So we're really excited to put on a show and do this for our community, as all of the guests and patrons will walk around outside, keeping them safe as well.
Each group will be led by a guide that will be telling them the story of the Nutcracker. And so the guide will go through the story and let them know, okay, let's go ahead and move on and stuff like that. And they'll watch the story be played out, and the guide will walk them through it. We start off in the real world, and it is Christmas Eve at Clara's house, where they always throw a wondrous Christmas party. And her aunt gives her this beautiful Nutcracker, which she is enthralled with.
Come out and see the Nutcracker Snow Globe experience.
Welcome back to the Global Sunday Show. Yeah, that was the video from Lexe. We haven't taught Lexe. I was looking forward to teaching her one of the South African languages, like at least one word from at least, and I'm counting on you, Mpume. I'm counting on you. You're gonna help me with this one, isn't it? Nkosazana. We are going to teach her one word at least, like one word from, I think it's gonna be Zulu language, depending which Mpume what she decides, because we have like 11 official languages, isn't it, Mpume? 11 official languages. Yes. So we're gonna choose one from there. But before that, let's have a look at the comments. Garage, do you wanna?
All right, so Bonge Masomi, shout out to you. You're always here. Says greetings, family, and whatever that emoji is. I have no idea what that is. All right, Jocelyn, your turn.
Okay. From Shana Luhan, Facebook in Arizona.
Bonjwe also says greetings, my fabulous family.
Tammy.
Niekamp.
I think that's my mom, Tammy Niekamp.
Okay, I just wasn't sure. Okay, Tammy Niekamp, love.
Shana Lujan, that is definitely how I felt, how I have felt as a mother of a young male dancer.
Shana Luhan, Nas Wranglers.
Chocolate Kid Leo, aka Lungani. Clap emoji.
Lessons by Lexe Dance Studio.
She also said quest character parties.
Lunar Market SA, lovely lady.
All right, I am going to definitely say this wrong. Mamia Tabi, watching from Umhlanga Ridge, Sanibonani.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Wow.
Wow.
I can't really pronounce. Thank you for that, Tammy Niekamp.
Lunar Market SA, a woman that works with children is always amazing.
Shana Lujan says, as a longtime supporter, friend, and current dance partner, Lexe is just as genuine and as hardworking as she appears. Very rarely do you meet someone who is the same on and off social media.
Shana Lujan, this will be my son's 3rd year performing in the Nutcracker. It's an amazing experience to be a part of.
Congratulations.
Well, thank you so much, and thank you so much, all of you at home, for your comments. Really appreciate it. Shout out to you all. Yeah, let us know where you're watching from. I'm gonna toss it back to Mr. Laden. I believe you have a question, or Princeton, do you have a question? I know all of you have questions, but maybe Lexe wants to say thank you to the people who are watching at home. Go for it, Lexe.
Yes, thank you guys so much. I appreciate all of your guys' support and just love you guys. Thank you so much for supporting the joy.
Absolutely.
So Princeton, I'm going to you, but I just want to make a comment that to be the same on social media and off of social media, you have to start off looking like Lexe. Princeton, good to see you.
Must be from another planet, eh? I'm gonna go to the next question quickly. Lexi, the art of blood. The art is the blood of human civilization, and our cultures identifies us. But everywhere there's community, and it seems everything you do truly drives community forward. What is your vision for the future and the future of your community?
I would have to say to keep the community involved in the arts and to keep the arts involved in the community. Because there's a thing that people don't necessarily understand when it comes to cutting arts programs. I know we talked about this a little bit, but is that arts programs drive community together, and that togetherness is how we grow our communities. And so that is how we can connect. Arts is a universal language. So whether or not you are the person looking at the painting versus you are the painter, that's still connection, and you're still connecting in order to grow something bigger and more beautiful and more joyful. So to me, the future of it is to keep the arts involved and to keep the community involved in the arts in order to grow more.
You know, Pume talked about in South Africa, and you know, art in all of Africa is everywhere. At the Margafontein Academy of Ballet, we address all indigenous art forms as fine art forms because they're not done for profit. They're not done for entertainment. They're done because that is life itself. And this is what is so important. You know, people, if you look at the world through a lens of, I don't know, nutrition, okay? If you look at, when you look at nutrition, what is true is that if the plate is presented beautifully, already your glands start salivating, your digestion begins with the look of it. And then there's the smell. And so even the art of presenting a plate to somebody makes a difference in their nutrition. When you look at things as a business, yes, the arts cost a lot of money. We talk about the Nutcracker. In my part of the dance world, we have major ballet, the Royal Ballet does a Nutcracker. The big ballet companies do a Nutcracker. It costs hundreds of thousands of dollars to do that. But all of the people in the audience, they stop at the CVS and they get some breath mints, or they go and buy a new outfit, or they go out to dinner, or they hire their babysitter, they pay them extra. They, you know, they all of this stuff happens. The economic impact, the financial impact of doing the arts is huge. What Bome is doing at the Playhouse Theater, that is going to draw people from all over the place. And even though, you know, as she said, you know, people in South Africa are so drawn, or maybe it was Princeton, they're so drawn to image and all of that. Well, that's going to drive the economy. The more they are image conscious, they're going to go get their hair done. They're going to go get an outfit. They're going to go and have a meal at a restaurant, all in their finery, so people can see them. Bravo for vanity. Bravo for the ego. You know, this is human. And everything that happens in the arts makes everything in our community thrive. It makes it thrive financially, health-wise, you know, just all kinds of ways. And so I think that it's just so important. And Lexi, you know, one of the things as a fellow Presbyterian,
yeah.
Whatever we are here, you know, let's talk about that in the green room after. Let's talk about what can we do in terms of our local area and promoting it. You know, Spongile, I can't say her last name, but she is a very famous opera singer in South Africa, and she is running a charge right now around the world and in South Africa because artists are not considered workers in South Africa. They cannot gain any benefit from any of the social programs that are available to workers because they're not considered workers. And yet they are the chefs of our communities. They're the ones that go out. They pick the quality of onion and banana and chicken that's going to be turned into a dish that serves many people. You know, the artists are the ones in the kitchen creating community and making it all thrive. And so I would love to, let's join forces and let's do something about it, because it is coming out of COVID is going to offer so many opportunities. COVID hit the reset button. Let's restart right. And so I just wanted to say that. And then Princeton, I'm going to kick it to you for the next question, unless you have comments, of course.
Yes. I totally agree with what you're saying. I think it's the time now where people need to stop whining, stop complaining. You have a second chance. When COVID hit, I thought we'd never, ever perform again. I thought we'd never see outside again, so I'm not sure how you guys felt, but I was quite concerned, I was really worried about that. I was like, wow, that's it, But here's a second opportunity. People need to join forces, get out there, and start doing stuff again, And I think that goes for everybody across all art forms, all across the world, you know what I mean? So let me go to the next question, Lexi. It takes so much courage to carve your own niche in this competitive world. I'd like to know, and the viewers would like to know as well, what motivates you?
I would have to say starting from my heart. Like the beat of my heart motivates me. I think that we are all given the same 24 hours every day, and what you decide to do with it is on you. And that when I wake up in the morning and I'm given another day, like that, to me, that's the biggest motivator ever. And then, of course, my dance kids. They are absolutely amazing. We have so many littles who are now olders, which is so crazy that I have, for example, I have so many kids, I think, that have started with the studio that are now older. So, like, I had 2-year-olds who are now 8. Like, that is so crazy to see their growth and just their passions and help them find their own passions. But I'd have to say between the two, it's my heart and my dance students that motivate me. It's all about who you surround yourself with.
That's so true. That's so true. Mr. Ladder?
Well, after COVID, wow. We are not yet reopened. We were supposed to reopen last year. We were supposed to reopen this past September 7th. We were supposed to open October 3rd. We were supposed to be opening tomorrow, October 17th. All the delays, the supplies we couldn't get, the construction that can't get done, the visas that people can't get, the travel restrictions. COVID made me have some serious doubt. But being 70 years old made me know we will get through this and we will learn from it and we will come back better from it. But the thing is, it really is about the kids.
Yeah.
I can't wait to actually be in the same room as somebody I'm teaching. I've taught over 2,000 classes on Zoom since the beginning of COVID. That's 3 a day, every day, all year for 2 years. And I can't wait to be in the same room as somebody. I'm probably just going to sit and gaze at them and smile because I'm so happy. No matter what they're doing, I'm just going to lose all my standards. I'm going to say, oh, that's wonderful. Oh, that's great. Oh, thank you for being here. I just can't wait.
Right.
And
I know we lost we
Mpume.
lost Mpume.
Yeah. Do you want me to go on to her question?
Yeah, I know we lost Mpume, so I'm just gonna ask a question on her behalf and probably think about the word that I will teach Lexi today, because that was supposed to be Mpume's job. So I'm taking a job. Mpume, if you're watching, I am taking your job.
Scandal.
Anyways, realize you mentioned success, Lexi, during our conversation. For a person who's watching at home and for a person who's just like me, what is access? What is success?
Everyone has their own definition of success. So as I talk, yes, you can take notes, but don't write it down for you, write it down for me, because that is my definition and your definition is going to be completely different. And I think that that's something that as a society and the world we live in today, there is so much on social media and so much just in our face, even in schools sometimes, that our people are teaching us that we're surrounding ourselves with that is the idea of success, and that you have to look a certain way, you have to act in a certain way, you have to hold yourself a certain way. And it's really hard, I think, to define success. But to me, it's doing what I love. So if you are doing what you love, you don't work a day in your life. If you are finding your passions, you are succeeding. If you are taking time for yourself, you are succeeding. If you are serving your community, you are succeeding. And these are my definitions of success. So once again, just because these are my definitions does not mean they're yours. Yours could be that you made a bowl of oatmeal today and you ate it. That could be your success, and that's okay. And I think that that's something that we all need to take a step back from sometimes when we are asked to define things, and we are asked to define things when we have youth around us, to be real about it and not just say, well, a book that we made up 50 years ago says success is this, so that's how we're going to define it, and you guys are going to get a test on it too. I scrolling through Facebook, just like half of us probably these days do. I always talk about this meme, and if you have had a conversation with me, I'm sorry if you are watching this and you hear this story again for the 100th time, but I came across a meme, and it's based in Africa, and there is a tree, and there's an instructor, and it's like the safari guide, and he says, okay, everyone, so for your test today, it's to climb this tree. And there's like an elephant, a giraffe, and a monkey sitting there. Well, who do you think is going to succeed? So the whole aspect of that meme was to say that we're all given the same tests. We're all given the same trials and tribulations. We're all put in the same boat of the pandemic. We are all given the same 24 hours, but your definition of success is not the same as my definition of success, and that is okay. And knowing that that's okay, because maybe you are the giraffe. How are you going to climb a tree? Okay, well, maybe you can climb something else, and that's your success. But I think it comes from the respect that we give each other when someone else is being successful, because that is another thing that when someone finds success and happiness, there is not a lot of people that are right there going, but when you are down in the dumps and you post about it, there's a lot of people right there saying, oh, I support you, because they like seeing you down. Why do we do that as humans? So to me, finding your own success is being happy for other people's success as well. But I could talk about this for days, so cut me off whenever.
You are the only one as you. You're the only one like you, and that is your superpower.
Yes.
Fulfillment is the only goal. You fulfill yourself, your nature, your heart, your dream, your life, your family, your friends, your ideas. If you fulfill them, that's the only goal in life. Because if you have done that, and if you've done that repeatedly through your life, when it's your time to step through that great doorway to the unknown future, that at that moment, you'll be able to say, I can go. Yeah. I'm fulfilled. You know, I ate the meal and I had my dessert and I'm done. You know what I mean? Like, and so for me, success is such an external measure, whereas fulfillment is something on the inside. And so maybe that relates a little bit to your take on it.
Yeah, for sure.
Well,
Interesting.
before you say so, Princeton, Princeton, I'm really sorry that each and every time I have something to say, it's
No,
just it's right before you.
it's okay. It's okay.
But Garage said he's got a question to ask, so I'm just gonna hand it over to you, Mister Sir.
Thank you. So Lexi, I have a question for you. It also relates to success. How do you define success? Is it the time taken, how the effort, end result, how impactful? Like, does it just include the goal and if you met it or not, or does it doesn't include like the aftermath, how it impacted people, stuff like that?
Yeah, that's an amazing question. I would have to say it's never about the goal. And I've found that out multiple times in my life because even in pageants, like I've been in 3 pageants and I've gotten top 10 2 years for Miss Arizona to go to Miss America, and I did not walk away with the crown. But what I did walk away with was the learning experience and what I learned throughout community service and growing as a title holder. That you cannot even relate to a crown. I think at the end of the day, like walking away with a certain goal is it's so hard to base your success on that because you're going to have trials and tribulations, and if you base your success on whether or not you got, I don't know, the pink ball versus the blue ball, like if you really base your success off that, I think you're going to have a really hard time with understanding that it's okay to keep going. And to me, it's all about what you learn. It's about the journey, not the destination necessarily, because sometimes the destination is not always what it looks like in the pictures. And even on social media, it's a highlight reel. So all of us, what we look like on social media, that's great. Like I recently came back from Hawaii. That's not what I look like every day. So I think it's important for everyone to understand that it's not about the destination, it's about the journey, and that's where my success comes from. And I've had to learn that. Like, I've learned that the hard way because even not making a dance team. I've not made dance teams before, and I've auditioned my heart out, and I have not made it. And so if I let that goal of not making it get in the way, I wouldn't be where I am today. Now I'm teaching the dance teams.
Wow.
Beautifully
Amazing.
said, Lexi. Thank you.
Can
Yeah,
I
man.
say something? A quick one.
Go ahead. Go ahead.
There is something that normally humbles most people. Sometimes when you think you are after something and then you end up, gaining something slightly different, even though maybe you would have thought it's something that, would be good for you. But here you are not really getting to that goal. But the rewards that are actually placed in front of you, they humble you to a point where it's like it was never supposed to be, the way you wanted. It was meant to be the way it's turned out to be. Am I making sense?
Yes. Yes.
Oh yeah.
Yep.
Oh yeah.
Can I go ahead?
Yes.
Yes. Please go ahead, Princeton.
He's asking your permission now.
Yeah, I have to. Since we're talking about success, I think especially as entertainers and people that are involved in art, sometimes I think success is something that's not tangible. You cannot really make it a materialistic thing, especially for us because we're in this kind of field. So for me, I believe success is kind of like doing something that you were born to do. So yeah, that's what I believe success is. Doing something that you were kind of born to do, And also you could even break that up, like Lexi was saying. Sometimes you could have a successful day, just completing those things that you were supposed to do within that day And that for you could be a success. Like she said, maybe making a bowl of oats or whatever. For somebody else, that's success, you know? So on that note, I'd also just like to say, ask Lexi, what is next for you? And after that, because we all know that you will succeed, what comes after what's next for you?
I would have to say traveling. That's been an aspect of my life that I want to do more of. And I've always wanted to travel and do pop-up arts shops where it's like a random intensive, like a dance intensive. And it's just pop-up. So like you don't actually know what city or where I'll be next. But I think it would be really cool to do that. And not charge an arm and a leg. Not charge really anything. I mean, the goal is to get the arts out and to make people stop and think about the arts for a few, even if it's just a few minutes, like, oh wait, like that was actually really fun. Even if it's like stopping in the middle of the street and dancing. Like you don't see that very often anymore. And it's because people look down on it because they're not comfortable with it. But everyone needs to start getting comfortable with being uncomfortable because that's how we grow.
That's so true. I mean, imagine if we couldn't put money on the art that we do.
Yeah.
If everybody could just do their portion without getting paid for it, it would be so much easier, so much better than what it is now. I know you're supposed to make money from your art, but I mean, like you say, at the end of the day, well, for me, I wish I could just give away all of my music for free to everybody out there without charging a cent for it, you know?
Right.
So, yeah.
And that's how it used to be. We're now in a whole different world where people feel the need to upcharge every single thing. So it's gotten harder for the artists who really want to share their passions and help other people grow. And so that's definitely been hard, owning a business too. Like a dance studio, like we have to operate. So of course we do have to charge. But I still, to this day, will not turn anyone down. Like that is not the goal. Like scholarships can be found, they can be done, and it's just not, it's doable. I always like to say that. It's something that you can do. But it's hard because there's far and few between that have the same niche as me. So making my voice heard, it can be difficult sometimes because not everyone's on the same wavelength.
True.
Before Mr. Laden, you say something. Sorry, I took your microphone. She stole my microphone, and I'm stealing yours. Josie has a question for you.
I just want to know, what's your mindset? Like, I know you kind of talked about this when you get frustrated, you look at the window, but like in the morning when you're going to your dance studio or whenever, like what's your mindset going into life?
Yeah. This is a good one. This is deep.
Yeah.
I love questions from our youth. Mindset. It's all about what you make it. Being in the dance world for a long time, you have to, especially competing, you end up being taught and trained to leave everything at the door. And when you walk into dance class, you're not allowed to have that soul, I guess, behind certain things. You're there to do a job, and that's kind of how that is. And so being on a competitive team when I was growing up, sometimes that was hard because I wanted to cry. I wanted to be like, hey, I have had a terrible day at school and people weren't nice, and I'd appreciate if you were nicer. Like, I can't say that. I couldn't say that as a kid. And I think that that's something that in my studio, I encourage anyone and everyone to have a bad day. And I think that that makes so many good days out of it, because when I'm like, oh, have you had a bad day today? Instead of how was your day today or was it good? They're like, oh no, like, why would you even say that? Because that just forces more people to think, oh, I actually did have a pretty good day, or what blessings did you have today? Or what was something that was really good about your day? So something that I do in my studio actually is when we stretch butterflies, which some of you may know what that is, but when we're stretching butterflies, I actually have everyone partner up, and talk about one good thing that happened to them that week and one bad thing that has happened that week. And it kind of just gets that out. And I do it with my teachers as well, where when the students are doing it, I'll do it with my teacher, the other co-teacher who is teaching with me at the time, if I have one. And that's something that really helps my mindset too, is it kind of just, you let it go subconsciously once you've talked about it. Because not everyone has someone to talk to at home or at school. And so being able to talk to your peers about it, even if it's just a 2-second conversation of, oh, well, I stubbed my toe today on my chair and it really hurt and everyone laughed at me. You're starting at least with getting your bad day off your chest, and then you're ending with releasing all your fun, nice, joyful endorphins after dancing. And things don't become as frustrating when you're not carrying anything else in. So leaving problems at the door, that's hard. Like, I wish I could say that that's something that I do all the time, but I think it's important to also know you're human, and that you're gonna have days that aren't going to be rainbows and butterflies. But mindset, that one's a hard one, because to me it's day to day. So I definitely say a prayer when I go into dance classes. That's something that I do. That's just one of my rituals. But everyone's different when it comes to mindset, and I just always want to make sure that I'm in a headspace where I'm relatable. Because if I'm in a headspace where I'm faking joy, you can see that. Yeah. So like, even when we lost my grandpa on Monday, of course I'm not okay. Like, we lost my grandpa. Like, he was one of my biggest supporters. He's very big in hockey. I don't know if any of you guys like hockey, but he was on the Detroit Red Wings. And so it was very impactful to a lot of people. So it's not only me hurting, it's a lot of other people hurting too right now, who were like his fans, who don't get to talk to him or don't get to see him or take pictures. And so I think you have to remember that, or I have to remember that my mindset is going to be different every day, and I just have to embrace it. Because if I don't even want to know what would happen. So yeah.
How lucky those kids are that they have that butterfly stretch experience. 40 years ago, I was teaching ballet to the son of a congressman, and that congressman's best friend had a son who was a teenager. And that young kid decided, everybody's so afraid of risk in the stock market and everything. And so he went and he asked a very rich friend of his father's if he could just get $100,000 to invest and just try and not be afraid of failing. And in something like 6 months, he tripled that money. And so then that guy told his father, who told the congressman, who told me about this whiz kid, right? And I got to know this whiz kid. And over the years, one of the things that he did, he ran restaurants and a wine business. He was the first one to do fine wine that has a screw top instead of a cork. And everybody said, oh, that's a disaster. But it really took off, obviously. We all know about that. Anyway, and so when he ran his businesses, every week he had an award for the person who made the biggest mistake of the week, because the way he had learned to do what he did was from his mistakes. And that guy's name is Gavin Newsom, and now he is the governor of the state of California. And from a young child, when I first knew him, he wasn't afraid of making mistakes. He wasn't afraid of admitting he had a bad day. He wasn't afraid of that. And it's incredible. It's like to be able to, it's like if you have a headache, you take an aspirin and you swallow the pill that makes the headache go away. But if you are having a headache, if you spit out the pill that made you have the headache, you don't need the aspirin. You know what I mean? And so I love that idea. That's just fantastic.
I just want to quickly give a chance to Mpume, because Mpume, you disconnected. I'm sure you have a few things to say. And then maybe give Princeton a chance to talk as well. Also, we'll just take 2 comments from Facebook. And then we have Lisa Meets. with an announcement. We're gonna have Lisa Meets online. We're just gonna give her a minute to talk to the audience about what's coming this week. So yeah, let me toss it to you. Boom it.
Thank you very much, Lungani. We have a very special guest indeed. I must actually add this. There is something about art that heals, that actually translates to self-care. And I think that it doesn't just end there. It's the person that is involved, maybe like a teacher, a dance teacher, or a music teacher. It translates and it is transferred to the students. It is my belief. I'm not saying everyone is seeing it like that, but also I want to link this to the conversation that we had last week. I'm now very conscious of the fact that I need to be present all the time with everything that I do. I need to be present. And I think with performing artists, we mostly don't just do one form of art. And yet we're supposed to give each form the respect that it deserves. And I think that I see that in you, Lexe, and you are way younger than me, and you are getting it. And I'm still trying to make sure that I'm staying present, and I try by all means to just be good now with what I'm doing now before I move to the next. And yeah, I applaud you for that. Well done.
Yeah, Mr. Laden, or can I take this one?
You take it, please.
Normally I'm a man of less words, So all I have to say to Lexe is it's been such a pleasure to speak with you and get to know you and hear about all the exciting things that you're doing in Prescott. As you guys say, you guys are Prescottonians. Is that the word, Mr. Laden?
I think so. I just learned.
I learned something new today. Yeah, sounds interesting. But yeah, man, it's been such a beautiful show. It was so nice to have you on the show and hear all the exciting endeavors that you are doing and wearing so many hats and doing it flawlessly, I just want to say I wish you well, wish you all the best, many more years, many more successful dancing lessons for the kids, and many more pageants.
Yes.
And I just want to say thank you.
Thank you.
All right. Okay. So we are back with the comments because we are also engaging with people who are watching at home. So yeah, stay tuned because we are going to ask Lexe to exchange contact details with you guys, but not actually exchanging, but she'll be giving out contact details. If you want to ask her a question, you want to see dance videos, you want to attend her dance classes, etc. So for now, we're just gonna take two comments. Just take one, okay? And then we're gonna check with Lisa Meets, and then we come back and we wrap up the show. So you guys ready?
All right, so Bonnie Masomi tuned in again, says, "Nice Boomy, we look forward to the shows. I will meet you there as I will be performing 2 shows there on the 5th. I'll be sharing stage with Vusi Mputo and Mralu at 6 p.m. and on the 23rd at 2:30 p.m. I am doing the Christmas celebration show. Get tickets in Web Ticket and enjoy."
Okay, so Ongiwe Mizomi. Okay, said good night.
Good night.
Good night.
Okay, wonderful. Thank you. Thank you so much. Let's take a break and then we hear from Lisa Meets and then we're going to wrap up. But before we wrap up, we are going to give out contact details for Lexe. But also, there's one more thing that we should not miss. We will teach her one word from Zulu language. It's an African language, so that should be fun. And it's also for you at home. You learn that and you can use it wherever you want and wisely. We'll be right back. This is the Global Sunday Show. Stay tuned.
Diverse Global Studios, Africa #1.
Welcome back. Welcome back to the Global Sunday Show. Yeah, we were just laughing behind the scenes. We're laughing about the actual word that we're going to be teaching Lexe. It's going to be fun. But let's check with Lisa Meets. Lisa Meets, are you there? Please, you just have 1 minute.
Hi, thank you so much, Diverse Global Studios, for inviting me to share with you all about my 10th annual benefit concert coming up October 22nd, just around the corner at the Elks Theater in downtown Prescott. My name is Lisa Mitz. For those who don't know me, I am a recording artist and a songwriter, and I've devoted the last 10 years through my music and sharing through my benefit concerts about the realities of human trafficking right in our backyard, so to protect families and local communities. This year marks a very special year as we will be at the Elks Theater and we have several local area leaders coming to share with you, besides a concert of my brand new album, Where Did It Go? My producer, Brandon B., is renowned and flying in for a second year in a row from Washington State. The whole evening is going to be very powerful, and I know if you come, you're going to be so thankful that you did. Please get tickets. You can go onto the Elks Theater website, or you can go to my website at lisamitzmusic.com and purchase your tickets. You can choose your seats. I just encourage you all not to miss this event. Share with others. We want to sell it out, and we are grateful for your support. October 22nd, doors open at 6 o'clock. 7 o'clock, the show starts. We'll see you there at the Elks.
Global Studios, Africa #1.
Ay. Bathi khuluma nabafana bathi sikhamba kanjani ulungani kwalelo aka umfana kaShokolate. Welcome back to the Global Sunday Show. That was Lisa Meets. Thank you so much, Lisa Meets. Yeah, I will be coming there to support you at Elks Theater. But yeah, welcome back everyone. Welcome back, Lexe. We're talking to Lexe. But unfortunately, we've come to the end of the show. It has been awesome. It has been nice. I've learned a lot of things, and I'm pretty much sure at home you also learn a lot of things. And thank you so much for engaging with us. But I am going to ask each of us here in the panel, and if you guys have, a saying, please go for it. Any last words before we end the show? I will start with Mpume, and I'll go to Princeton. I'll go to Mr. Laden, and then Lexe if my team here doesn't have anything to say. But yeah, let's go for it. Mpume, any last words?
The words Mpumelelo, Pumelela, My name is Mpume, and my name means Mother of Success. And I'd like to say to Lexe, as we are closing, that team from the Global Sunday Show wishes you all the best and all the success that you deserve. The word that refers to that, we are saying to you, Pumelela, have the success, be successful. You deserve it. You are working hard for it. You keep doing it. And all the best. And it's been great chatting to you.
Yeah, Lexi, thank you once again. I think I kind of said my last words a bit earlier. So yeah, but I'll just say it again. Thank you. It's been a good show. Nice having you. We wish you all the best, you know. Mr. Ludden, you can take it away.
Okay, well, Bumalela, absolutely to you, Lexi. And I just want to say that you know, that Lessons by Lexi, when I first heard that, I thought, what a great name for a studio. But now I think that I'm going to take a new one, and that is Live Along with Lexi. You really brought life to us. Thank you.
Wow, life with Lexi, yeah?
Yes. You're muted, Mr. Lungani.
Go for it.
Oh, okay. Me? Oh, wait, no, I think we're still.
No, we're okay.
Oh, okay.
I think you just
I want to say just that I love working with Lungani and being here in the studio. I get to hear a lot of amazing things just with all the different guests coming in. So thank you, Lexi.
Welcome.
I would also like to say, Lexi, thank you for coming today. Congratulations, and I hope you have a lot of success in the near future, and in the long distance future as well. And it's been great working with Lungani in the Diverse Global TV. It's awesome being on the studio, and it's awesome meeting new people every Sunday.
Wow, awesome. Beautiful. Thank you guys. Thank you so much for being here. I really enjoy working with you guys. Lexi, contact, and you know, there's someone out there who's been listening to you, maybe, you know, especially I can see kids love you. They love you so much. Maybe a parent is watching, they want to get in contact with you, and also they want to know, they want to find out what's next, what you're working on. Would you please just take over, give as many details as you can. Today's your day. Just take your time and speak to the people at home. Please go for it, ma'am.
Yes, of course. So I have a lot of contact information just because I have a lot of businesses. So I'm going to kind of read it to you and rattle it off. So to reach out to Lessons by Lexi Dance Studio, the phone number is 928-499-8664. Our website is lessonsbylexi.com, and you can see all of our previous events that we've done. We do a lot of community events as well with our kids to get them out into the community and sharing with more people to get more of the arts heard. So if you want to get involved in that as well, we definitely would love to have you. Email is lessonsbylexi@gmail.com, and I should probably spell out Lexi for you guys because it's spelled a little differently. So my actual name is Alexis, and it's Alexes. So Lexi is spelled Lexe, just for future reference. And then all of my Instagram accounts are Alexis Niekamp, Lessons by Lexi Dance Studio, Miss Copper's State AZ, Quest Character Parties, and One Stage Family Theater. As well as the Facebook pages are the exact same of those as well. So Alexis Niekamp, Lessons by Lexi Dance Studio, so on and so forth. Also, if you Google Alexis Niekamp, everything will pop up for you, so that way it's also easier for you guys. And I think a few of my friends, thank you so much for doing that, tagged them in the comments. So in the comments are all of the businesses that we've talked about.
Wow.
Give it up for Lexe.
Thank you.
Thank you so much, Lexe. Thank you so much for making time to share your story. Global Sunday is all about having a conversation with these amazing people that works closely with the communities, the kids, and they do a lot of different changes in different communities. So we really thank you for making time and sharing your experience with us. Thank you so much, and we wish you all the best with the kids and with the future. Yeah. This is the Global Sunday Show with your boy Lungani. Thank you so much for staying with us. We will see you next time. Same place. Say bye-bye to everyone. Thank you so much, Mr. Laden. Thank you so much. Thank you so much to Boomer. Thank you so much. Princeton. Thank you so much. Lexi. Thank you so much. Josie. Thank you so much. Raj. See you next time. Bye-bye.
Bye, everybody.
Sunday, Global Sunday with Lungari. Global Sunday with Lungari.
Good job.
Sariyanyuki, Yasuri kama sariyanyuki, Honja sikia cham sana, Wana Yesu niye sariyanyuki. Damo yaroho, Yasuri kama, damo yaroho, Honja sikia cham sana. Wana Yesu niye dawa yaro. Yeah, keep watching Sunday, Global Sunday with Lungari. Global Sunday.